starting to look a little thick. Anyways, guys, we have secondary low bar day today. High rep low bars at top set of 5 and some back down 6s. And close grip single followed by some 6s there as well. And lots of pretty cool accessories. We have leg extensions today, which is new. You guys haven't seen that, so should be good. Let's get the pre-workout in. Alright guys, welcome back to Road to 105. The bulk continues. And today, body weight was 97.65, which I think might be an all-time high. Not exactly sure, but it's definitely very high, which is good. And we continue the bulk with that. And yeah, pretty good. So today we have low bar, high rep squats. So I have one set of 5 followed by 2 sets of 6 here. We changed it up for a secondary day from high bar to low bar here. So this block is the first block in a very long time where I have 2 times a week low bar. The block previous to that, I had 1 set of low bar paused, but now we have like an actual low bar day here, where we had first of all a set of 5, yeah, as I said, and then there's 2 sets of 6. So I had some technique changes today here, this session. Michael C, my coach, told me to try out some cues that I haven't done in a while because the squat, quite frankly, feels a little bit uncomfortable every single time I'm doing it. Like I have some upper back discomfort, some shoulder discomfort, some elbow discomfort, and some wrist discomfort. So what we tried to do was remove the wrist reps and try use the cue to stay in the quads or push knees forward instead of out. So I'm no longer trying to push my knees outwards, as in out, and more so just push them forwards. So this means that I don't really have much knee cave anymore because I don't push them too much out in the beginning. And like, it's way more comfortable on my back. The bar maybe also is a little bit higher up on my back, so it's not so far down, not so low bar-ish. And the reason for that is my high bar is almost as strong as my low bar at the moment. It is not actually, but in terms of performance-wise, when you just look at the numbers on the days, like Monday here, I did high bar, 1 set of 5 at 185, and that was like RP5 with a pause. And this day here, I did a 190 for set of 5, and it was about the same RPE. So yeah, pretty much same strength there, even though it's not actually the same strength. Like my 1 rep max would definitely be higher low bar, but the numbers are getting very, very similar. So there's definitely some sign of me that I maybe should get the bar a little bit higher up on my back. And it's not so much because I'm stronger there, it's just because I feel really, really comfortable in the high bar position. And when I'm able to do that, I can just gain momentum in a really good like pattern of movement, and it just continues to go really, really well there. And really just having comfortable movement over again and getting momentum with that is probably going to be like the key to gains overall. That is the same thing for my bench and deadlift right now. They are going really, really well. They are increasing in strength every single block, and I'm like from week to week within a block stronger all the time. And I think that's just because I've gotten the technique so dialed in, and like the setup in the microcycle we've gotten dialed in, like so that I mean, it is very, very comfortable to do so, and there's no pains or anything like that, and it's just very, very similar technique where you continue building on momentum with that. And so what I'm trying to do is achieve that with my low bar squat here. So got the wrist reps off and put the bar slightly higher on my back, and I don't push my knees as far out. And yeah, as you can see, 190 here moves really, really good. So something is definitely working. Like strength-wise, it feels maybe not at all-time peak strength. I don't really know. Maybe it actually is. It's definitely feeling pretty good, and there's no pain, and that was pretty much the most important thing that felt comfortable to do. Now, just a quick side thing here. Programming tip is using higher reps is actually a really, really good way to load limit yourself while still being in a really good skill practice manner. So here I have 2 sets of 6 with 15% off my top set, so 160 kilos, which is obviously super, super light, but it is still somewhat good quality movement here, and it is hopefully going to prime me really good for my next session, which is my primary squat day. Now for the real lift that we've all been waiting for, the bench press. Here the bench press is really, really feeling good, like recently over the last couple of sessions. I did that 1 set of 6 with 150 kilos, which was just straight up crazy, like literally RPE 5 or 6 with 150 kilos for a set of 6. It's insane for me. So the bench press is feeling really, really good with the bulk, and I can clearly feel positional wise that I'm in a really, really good spot with that. But the thing is, actually it feels significantly better with wide grip compared to close grip. I've also maybe widened my grip by like a quarter of a finger, if that makes sense, so basically nothing. But it still feels a little bit different, and I'm flaring my elbows slightly more. So the close grip with that doesn't feel as much better as the regular / wide grip bench press I'm doing here. And just so you know, like this day here is a close grip day, and close grip for me is pinkies on the ring, so it is still relatively wide compared to maybe a regular gym bro, but for me this is a pretty big difference in how wide I'm gripping, which does the difference in terms of load limitation and a different stimulus that I need. So this is still very much a valid variation for me to have here. And yeah, it is changing position so much that it is clearly a close grip for me. And here I actually hit a PR of 162.5 kilos. And yeah, it still feels pretty good, even though it doesn't feel as much better as the wide grip does with the bulk. It is still a PR, and it's like RP 6, something like that, maybe 6.5. Yeah, so great single there, and also pretty good back-offs here. 2 sets of 6 with 117.5 kilos, which is very, very low weight. It is like RP, I don't know, even know, like RP 3, 2, something like that. It's very, very low. But it is a part of the stimulus here. This is still a priming session for my primary day coming up. So priming sessions are not really to move the needle as much forward as some other sessions, if that makes sense. It's not so much to make you stronger. They can have some purposes in that, of course, but it's also just a lot to make sure that within the microcycle, within the week of training, like you have day 1, day 2, day 3, within those days, you are strong when you want to be strong, and you are weak when you want to be weak. That makes sense. So on the primary day / the heaviest day of the week that you have, you can alter some things up, and that can be, for instance, using priming sessions, with for instance this one here, which is priming me for my primary day, which is Saturday. This day is Thursday. So because of what I'm doing here Thursday, because of the single and the higher reps, what we've found is when I'm doing that, I'm stronger on Saturday. So if I were to instead push these a lot more, to do some a lot heavier back-offs, so 2 sets of 6 with like a lot heavier weight instead, where it was like an actual high RPE, maybe I will get a better stimulus on that day, but it would make me weaker on my primary day where I want to be strong, and that is not good, because we want to have predictable good performances when we want to have that. And with that, it is very, very easy to tell what is working and what is not working, and that is just really, really good and can give us really, really good predictable performances, also just for training but also for competitions. So we know if we lay a competition here and we have our last session Thursday and we do exactly this and this, then we know we're going to be strong on the competition day, which is also partly why I'm always stronger competition day compared to in training on the bench press, because we've gotten that system dialed in so much. And the same thing actually goes for accessories. Not only do they help you by having a stimulus that just gives you hypertrophy, which is going to help your overall long-term development, they also have a place in the microcycle where they're going to put some fatigue in some places, which is going to give you some compensation in some places, and it's also going to impact when you're strong and when you're not. So for instance, if I were to do 6 sets of 12 here instead of the 3 sets of 12, I would probably be significantly weaker on some days and stronger on some other days. And this is where consistency of what you're doing really comes into play. So that is why I don't really change the accessories much up, and we can just keep them very, very consistent. The only thing that changes is the weight on the dumbbells or barbells or whatever it is on the machines, and they also don't change that much really. They just change like maybe 10%, 20 at max within a block, whereas the weight on the deadlift can change a lot more. I can start a block at like 250 kilos and end like above 300 kilos on a deadlift, whereas that would never happen percentage wise on an accessory. Those are more so just for like long-term development. Anyways, for accessories and the bulk, now it is bulking to 105 series, so we should probably talk a little bit more about that. With that and accessories get like really fun because you can progress them a lot more. Now, I haven't seen that significantly more than previously because I can typically anyways progress my accessories pretty good, but I'm definitely still been noticing a difference. Like last week I did the 35s here for the same sets and reps as I did for 38s, and 38 was literally lower RPE this day, so there's definitely some big changes there. Though I do my dumbbell press very like controlled, if that makes sense. So I don't. I could press a lot more if I want to maximize the amount of weight used, but instead I try to get a good balance of some weight used while also trying and maximizing my hypertrophy stimulus quite a lot. So like that is pretty much what you want to focus on with every single movement you're doing. What is the purpose of this? And for the dumbbell press, I just found the purpose of that is primarily hypertrophy, but just like the priming close grip bench, it also has a place in the microcycle where I need to be touching some kind of loads for me to have consistent performances. I cannot just use 20 kilos and just do some pump work there, because if I do, I might not get enough fatigue for me to compensate for that for my next primary day, and so my performance would be a little bit unreliable if I went all the way from like 40 kilos to 20 kilos on that. So I need a good balance of using some real weight for that and also just getting some good hypertrophy stimulus here, which is pretty much the exact opposite for these Bulgarian split squats here that I'm doing right now, where I found those don't really have a positive effect if I push them on anything. Maybe they do on hypertrophy, but I don't really need that much hypertrophy out of the Bulgarian split squats, especially with me having a injury history with those. Previously, I've had a lot of hip issues in my adductors from doing Bulgarian split squats, so right now they're just like a health movement, if that makes sense, just like the bicep curls as I talked about in the last episode, where I'm also doing them to prevent injuries and get like a good movement range in, more so than trying to maximize any hypertrophy. As you can see, these are also very low RPE and just to really stay healthy, which at the end of the day is also going to be like the most important thing for long-term development, because if you stay injury free and you overall get some pretty good hypertrophy, you're probably going to gain pretty much no matter what you're doing.